Welcome everyone, we are here with the new 2020 C8 Corvette convertible, and we have it next to a 458 and an Audi R8 for comparison. So this is a hardtop convertible Corvette, and this is the 3LT trim with the Z51 package. And over here we have a 458 Spyder, which is also a hardtop convertible. Having these side by side so you can see what they look like. The 458 has some carbon fiber bits up front, as does the C8. And you can see on the brake caliper, actually not that one, the brake caliper actually says Z51, it's blocked off there, but this is a Z51 package. We have these big side scoops on here, kind of similar to the R8 right over here. This is a 2014 R8, and this is the V8. All of these cars have dual clutch transmissions. And I'm very familiar with the R8, the Ferraris, but not so much the C8. So this will be my first time driving the C8 Corvette. So here is the key. If we hit this button, we can lower the top while it's parked there. Now you can see that the interior is a huge upgrade over the other generations of Corvettes. Lots of carbon fiber, aluminum, leather, a couple screens here. These are your control buttons. And the seats. The seats are a huge upgrade. There's some cloth here in the high wear areas. And these are also heated and cooled seats. So, a very nice interior package. On the passenger side, you can see that you're pretty well separated from the driver. So if we come in here, it's a little bit cramped. And it looks like my controls for the passenger side are here, and the driver's controls are up here. Let's try the remote start on this. Has sort of a muscle car sound to it, which is pretty awesome. Now these also get excellent fuel economy. The same cannot be said for the R8 or the Ferrari 458. So let's go out and test drive it. So here's the key. It's going to go in my pocket. We open the door like this so we don't get fingerprints on the paint. We come inside, and this is what our door panel looks like. We have carbon fiber here. Looks like an aluminum speaker grill. Bose Performance Series. Alright, now this is what pops up on the screen. Are you starting that now?
If you want me to wait, I can.
No, start it. I want to hear it. It's quieter than this, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, so here's our start stop button. So I'll wait for him to back out, and then I'll fire this up. And you'll hear that this car is actually a little bit louder than the Ferrari 458. Alright, so he's out now. I can start this guy up. So we're gonna put our foot on the brake and press the start stop button. I'm gonna turn the AC off. And then I'm also going to close the roof with this. Let's go into reverse. Foot on the brake, going into reverse. You can see right there. We're now in reverse. There we go, now it's going up. There's the top going over my head. I'm doing that for audio purposes, really. We're in performance traction mode, wet. So let's go to dry. This will allow me to do a launch control, which is pretty cool. So what I did there is I selected track mode, and then I hit the traction control button twice. Now this also has a burnout mode, and I'll show you that as we get going. What you do is you pull back on these two paddles. and it allows you to rev the engine up and spin the tires to heat them up so that you can launch more effectively. Right now you can see that the lift has already engaged. You can also see that as the engine warms up, this red line will raise. All right, so we're off. We're in performance traction mode. What you notice right away about this is how smooth the dual clutch transmission is. A lot of the cars, like the Ferrari and the R8 for instance, are a little bit jerky, but this is very nice, immediately very nice. And so, yeah, right now it seems, oh there we go, now it feels more like a dual clutch. A little bit jerky there. Now on all of these dips on these streets, I've already programmed in where the car should auto raise, so the front will automatically lift for you. The one thing about the auto lift in this car, or just the lift in this car, is that it is a little bit noisier compared to these supercars. You can hear, it sounds like a compressor or something going off. There's a cop behind me, so I can't really get on it right now, but overall a very pleasurable car to drive. The biggest complaint that I have from driving this is how tight the cockpit is. If you're a larger person, you're not really going to like this compared to the Ferrari or the R8. This whole area right here in a mid-engine car is normally much more open. This massive center console makes me wonder what is being planned for the car, because the engine's in the back, the drivetrain's in the back, it's rear-wheel drive. There's got to be something else going on here. Just give it a little bit of gas just to see what it's like. Here we go. Very nice. Nice acceleration, nice engine sound, quick shifts, everything that we'd expect with a dual clutch transmission. It's very nice. Overall, my impression of it, it's a nice car, and it's not super expensive. It does not feel like an exotic car though. It just does not feel like an exotic car. It's not light on its feet like an exotic car. It does turn, you know, you can tell that it's a mid-engine, but really doesn't feel the same as a Ferrari or a Porsche. I just don't get that vibe from it, but I do like the car. The steering wheel has a very odd shape to it. I'm not quite used to it yet. Yeah, real nice immediate power. And if I click the paddles, it goes right into manual mode. So here, click it, downshift. The downshift is almost instantaneous. And this is my first time really driving the car, so here we go. Yeah, it's really great. It just grips. The one thing that you notice about this coming from the other generation of Corvettes is if I was to apply that much power down low with the other Corvettes, I'd likely spin the tires. But this has more weight over the rear axle, and it hooks up. It feels really great. We're gonna go out to PCH here. This thing is a rocket. I can get some corners in here just to get a sense of what it feels like. It does corner very nicely. Yeah, overall this is pretty impressive. The shifts are instantaneous, the engine revs up, and you get a real nice sound. It's not a flat plain crank V8, it's a proper American V8 sound. And so I like this a lot. And now I can just sneak right out here and give it gas and get right into the flow of traffic. Instantaneous shifts. When I reach for the shifter, it's instantaneous. But I still feel like I had more fun with a manual transmission. And this car just doesn't get me as excited as the other Corvettes. It feels too refined. It's almost, it's almost too refined for me. It has the blind spot detection. It has a great sound system. It has heated and cooled seats. This is a very luxurious car. The transmission is great, but again, I just prefer having a manual transmission in my sports cars, and so I don't think I'm going to be getting one of these for personal use, but it is a very cool car, and I like that you do still have control over the transmission, being able to engage launch mode, being able to engage the burnout mode. It's pretty cool. All right, here we go. This is kind of a boring drive. I don't have much to do here. We're on PCH. I'd love to take this out to the track to see how it handles at the limit, but unfortunately I can't do that. So one thing I notice about this car is that the steering feel is still not great, and that's one of the things that you notice in the Corvettes. They don't have the best steering feel. It feels a little bit numb coming through here, but I'm sure if I tuned the car, if I put a set of coilovers on it and an aggressive alignment, we could fix that a little bit. Right now this is probably at the street alignment settings, and I don't have a very lively steering feel coming through here. You have an eager car though. The car does want to go for it, but the limits are much higher than anything we could do on this road here. Yeah, so overall my first impression of the C8 is it's a pretty good car, and it's a very good car when you consider how much it costs. These cars start at $60,000, and that's just incredible. The interior is a huge upgrade over the previous generations. Even the C7, it's much nicer in this car than the C7 was. These seats are fantastic. The technology is fantastic. The front lift is fantastic. I love how I can do the auto lift when I'm driving around in this area, because there's a lot of streets with those dips, and so I can program those all in and avoid scratching the front of the car. I think that's huge. It was also very easy to get into the track mode, very easy to get into the launch mode and the burnout mode. So I do feel like I have good manual control over the car, but I still feel disengaged from the driving experience somehow. I really just want to have a manual transmission. It'd be so much fun if this car had a manual transmission. I'm kind of left a little underwhelmed on this, honestly. We've waited so long for a mid-engine Corvette. It's been so hyped, and I've driven mid-engine cars. I've driven a ton of mid-engine cars, and this just doesn't really speak to me. And so this is not a car that I'm going to go out and buy. In fact, this is going to be the first generation of Corvette that I'm really not interested in buying. To me, the Corvette was a good car because of its practicality and that big open trunk and all the stuff I could put in it. I really enjoyed my C7, but I just don't see myself in a C8. That's all I have for you guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure that you enjoy your car.